All right. Well, we're back. It's episode 3 of So Much Respect, the podcast. I'm excited because today we're doing something unique here with COVID and everything. It's kind of hard to be in different places at the same time, but we're going to do this Zoom call here. And this podcast is with Trey Tonnessen. This is my old roommate freshman year from Harding. Grew up with this man. Trey, glad you're joining us.
And I'm glad to be here. I had the pleasure of hanging with Dylan on New Year's, came up to visit, so had some fun, and he got to experience Stark Vegas, taught
Oh
him what it was
yeah,
all
dude.
about. So,
Dude, tell us about your new college life. You're in Mississippi State now in Starkville. How's that going?
well, I'm enjoying it. Getting the pleasure of learning meteorology. So that was my whole purpose. Of course, you know, and most people probably watching know I was at Harding first, but I got a good broadcasting base and came here to Mississippi State to study meteorology because for some reason that wasn't a Harding problem. It's a whole state problem because nowhere in Arkansas there's not a meteorology program in the whole state. So I came here and get in state and get to study something I've always wanted to learn. So I'm excited about it. It's interesting. But,
Yeah, definitely interesting, man. It's crazy that Mississippi State is like the only like place that's doing that, man, with the meteorology.
mhm. Yeah, you'd think with Arkansas being in such a location that it would be, one of the schools for sure that would have meteorology as an option with all the storms and severe weather that they have. But for some reason they don't. But Mississippi State offers in-state to kids from Arkansas. So I just took them up on the offer and decided to come here and experience something a little different. I hadn't
Dude,
regret it. So
that's pretty dope, man. I want to get into the freshman experience at Harding because,
oh
it
yeah.
definitely wasn't for you. It's not for everyone, but
Right.
I got to experience it firsthand with you, and we had a lot of fun. A
Yeah.
little too much fun with the dorm there because we got fined a lot. So I
Mhm.
want to I want to break all that down because I know people that are listening to the podcast have heard about Harbin's second floor and freshman year
Oh,
and how crazy it
yeah.
was, how much it felt like there was always something going on up there. Um, what tell me why I don't know what we did, dude. Just start recounting.
Well,
I know you said you wrote
well,
out things.
Well, yeah, the other day I was actually before Dylan even talked to me about being on this podcast. I just did it just because I remembered some of the things we did and I didn't want to ever forget them. So I just started jotting things down. And before I knew it, I'd filled up, and this is no joke, both sides of notebook paper, every line filled up with something that we had done there or just crazy experiences we had. Well, it started off like, we're both kind of loud people and we both like to have a good time and we both
Oh
like to
yeah.
talk. And so we would just talk to people, and I guess some of the rules there. One of the big ones they have is their quiet hour or whatever. And
Oh,
I don't remember
the
what time
worst.
that was, but whatever it wasn't good enough for us, and we were always way too loud for that. And I know it just started by us, bam, bam, bam. We just written up for excessive noise, failure to comply with quiet hour, all kinds of crap like that. But I know that started off, and then it just was pretty much downhill from there. I'm trying to remember exactly what was next, but you
Oh,
probably
dude.
probably know something.
I'm
But
gonna get into some specific stories. Dude, try switching to your AirPod audio real fast too.
all right,
But
let me see here.
yeah, we'll try that out. This is a new thing for both of us. I see a lot of people doing these podcasts on Zoom, but they're pretty cool. We'll see how it goes. But dude, I'm talking about freshman year, man. We were getting in trouble like all the time, dude. It was like never ending. It seemed like everything was crazy. Say something again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. All right. Well, so freshman year, me and Trey get there. We don't know what's going, what to expect. We've heard everything about Harden. We've heard, the stereotypes, all this stuff. We didn't really know like how we were gonna like intermix with all these people, these new people. I don't know what happened, man. It was the first week we were there. Our room was like the spot everybody hung out in. We had the door open 24/7, even when we were sleeping. Everybody came in there to hang out. And we had a good time. We had a lot of good guys in there, a lot of fun. But dude, as the semester went along, we just started acting crazy. I think one of the main things that made us do this was boredom because Harding does have a curfew, having to be put when you tell college student you're going to have to stay in for this time, it's bedtime, or, you don't have to go to sleep. They say you can stay up all you want. Uh, when you do that to college students, especially like us, we're gonna start acting up a little bit, going crazy in there. I remember one time
Well, I
we
thought
just. Oh, go ahead.
part of the issue, like I know we've talked about this before. It's like, well, for example, like if I want to go out and get a burger at like 12:30 a.m., I'm not a burger fanatic by any means. I'm not a guy that eats burgers every day, all day, every day. Not a Big Mac type of guy. But
Yeah.
it's just like if I want to go get one, knowing I couldn't at 12:30, I just wanted a burger real bad. So it's that type of thing. Like I knew I could not get outside of those walls, and it bothered me. Like I was always thinking of ways to get out. It was frustrating because just like a prisoner, like when they're at home, they never think of ways to get out of their house when it's locked. If it was locked from the outside, I'm sure that never crossed their mind. But when I was at Harding, so many nights I sat there thinking, Dadgum, how do I get out of this building? But it was alarmed. That was the thing. Like you couldn't get out the doors, or it would go off like you were escaping a prison. Like the alarm was loud.
It was
too.
crazy.
It would wake up everybody.
Yeah. Dude, try switching back to the regular audio. My bad. I hate to do that, but we're just gonna get this audio right. But dude, yeah, like you said, we're going out to we want to go get some McDonald's. It's like they tell us that curfew's at 12 and we have a grace period. Well, we're gonna test that grace period. That was our mindset anyway. So we would leave at like 11:59, and we'd be like, all right, we'll make it back before 15 minutes, just to see if we could break the time. So that was one thing we did that kind of started them being like, oh, these guys are trouble. I know, well, you don't go to Harding anymore, so this doesn't matter. But there were several instances where, the fire alarm went off.
Yeah.
They did not like that. The fire alarm was a big one. That was hilarious. And the fire alarm went off. I don't know. I can't even recall how many times. I know it
was quite a bit. Yeah,
I think at least
times.
4.
I think so. At least 4 times. Yeah.
Well, I
can remember.
Do you remember the one time you we had our microwave literally right below the
I know exactly where you're going with this one.
Yeah, you grabbed the popcorn out of there and just opened the bag, and the steam just hit that sensor, man. It just, everybody's running down.
Yeah, it did. Sure enough, everybody's gone. It's sprinting out the door, down outside, and of course, it triggered our room. So that everybody knows. And they made sure to tell everybody, but at that time they were ticked.
Well, I remember we were all standing outside, and all the football guys were out there with us, and you just see all the fire department people and the dorm parents that they're in our room, and our blinds were open, so everybody could look up there and see it was our room. So everybody's like, those douchebags,
well, that was before we had gotten the blackout curtains too. So, and we had the windows, the blinds pulled all the way up. The windows were open because we were yelling out there before, and everybody could see clear as day. They were in their full suits, axes, breathing things, all in the room. Yeah, they were ticked. They knew exactly what room we were because we were a corner room too, right there, second floor, and they knew it. But
dude, it was bad, dude. It was crazy, but it was fun.
That's when we became the targets too. Yeah. Everybody knew.
Another thing we did that was just completely stupid. I don't know why we did it, but it was fun, and it's kind of funny to look back. The only bad part is we had to clean this up, so it's kind of like, oh dang, we just did this and had to clean it up. It was the eggs. We just started chunking eggs one day in the hallway, just throwing them like rockets. We were trying to see how long we could throw them back and forth without cracking, and then it just turned into us just chunking them at the walls.
Yeah, just turned into an all-out war, and the eggs were flying everywhere. We're throwing them down the stairs, seeing how far. I think at one point we got in a contest just to see. We lined up on the exact same tile just to see who could throw their egg the farthest down the hallway.
Yeah,
whoever had the furthest won. Somebody ended up winning because their splat went the furthest, but it got way out of hand.
It got way out of hand. That's where it first started getting to where they're like, okay, we're about to find these dudes a lot because they're actually causing damage. I mean, we had to those eggs, surprisingly, it was hard. Well, I remember one of the walls just stayed, the eggs stayed on there for 2 days. And then they were like, okay, y'all had to clean this. Well, it just ripped the paint off is all it did. And then so they find us for that.
On the paint.
They find us for that. And then of course, we got in trouble for the fire alarms. I think they fined us for that too. We got fined so much. At one point, we just had a wall of all of our fines. When you walked into our room, you could just see all the fines, all the write-ups. It was something like that. And then it didn't help. We lived right by the RA. I mean, he did not. I'm not even going to say his name, but man, he didn't really like us very much.
No.
I mean, sometimes I was like, yeah, he's a cool guy, but a little too sensitive for me.
When we moved out there, I remember he was watching us super closely.
Oh yeah.
And at one point he made me look under the drawers I was pulling stuff out of and wiped down the inside of the dresser drawers for dust. Who sees that? Nobody will ever see that.
Oh, he was just doing us dirty. I remember he came out to me and he put his finger over the dresser and he slid it across. I'm not even being like dramatic, but he slid his finger across there, looks at it and goes, "You didn't clean this." I've never wanted to smack a dude. I've never wanted to smack somebody so hard when he said that. Yeah. When he said this right here, I was like, dude, you know where that finger's about to go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
I was like, dude, you better chill out, bro, with this like acting up stuff.
And then he gave you that snarky remark. Remember, he said something, and he had a particular voice. He said, "Dylan, you better get that clean. You know what's coming. I will have to write you up, and you've been written up before, so that'll be a fine for you." He just started doing it, man. Dude, they us both over the edge.
They loved giving us fines, man. We at least had $500 worth of fines freshman year each.
I mean,
yeah, even when we moved out, we got cleared. Like they cleared us from our
room I forgot all about that.
Our room check. So they do a room check. You sign off saying everything looks good. Well, they did that, and then we get a call like a week later from the dorm parent saying, "Hi, Trey and Dylan, you've both been fined $100 for chipped paint in the closets." I said, "Chipped paint in the closets?"
Yeah.
Like, how? What are you talking about? You just signed off on this. Like,
yeah, they signed off on it like it was good. And I guarantee they probably sent everybody in that building in there to find something to get mad at us for. I was like, we're not letting them walk out of here scot-free. No way.
I was like, $100 for paint that you literally didn't notice at all. Like, I don't even know what they were talking about, but they didn't notice it when they signed off on our checkout, and they checked our room hardcore because he was wiping his finger all over the place.
Well, yeah, they started that $100 crap when I don't know if you remember, like when I was walking through the hallways. Well, I used to. That was the whole thing with the speaker. Like I used to. Sometimes I would go out in the hallway and I had a small speaker, probably about this big, but I'd put it in the ceiling and play music, and nobody could ever figure out where it's coming from. At first, they thought it was coming through the like the intercom system.
Yeah.
But after a while, people saw like one time I left a towel like out of the ceiling. I just didn't put it back, and when I got the speaker back, for some reason, like somebody else moved another towel, so it became a trend. Yeah. And that wasn't a problem because you could just move the towels back. But the second floor like stayed true to its reputation, and for some reason, they decided. Be cool. Every time you walk in the second floor, bam, punch the ceiling, we're knocking out these towels. It looked like a map on Modern Warfare because all the ceiling was blown out and dirt and trash everywhere, dude. It was insulation.
Dude, it was crazy, dude. Like I've never seen so many broken tiles, dude. And like even me, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, whoa, dude, that's getting a little far. But you know, nevertheless, we knew we were gonna get fined anyway, so we just started punching the crap out of those tiles, as one should. But dude, there was so much crap that happened in that dorm. I remember there was this one kid, Galen. He still goes to Harding. He's one of our friends. Yeah. One night he was just like, dude, somebody had pepper spray or something, and he was like, "Oh, I'll get pepper sprayed." And we're like, what the hell is this guy on? Like, what is he? Yeah. Why in the world would you want to get pepper sprayed? And so, you know, we're like, well, who's gonna do it? And Trey's like, I'll pepper spray him.
Yeah, because they were all like beating around the bush. They were beating around the bush. I'm like, well, okay, give me that. Like,
everybody was like, no, I'm not. I can't do it.
I don't want to do it. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm scared. Like, oh, he just asked for it, man. Just grab the thing.
I was like, dude, this dude he just literally said, I'll get pepper sprayed. You like literally, I'll do it. You won't like. There's no way I won't do it. And so we were like,
all right, have at it, brother. Yeah.
So
and got him like,
oh, you got him good.
All over the face.
It was like a weird thing because we went outside and we're trying to hurry up, but like Trey was trying to hit the spray button and he like spammed the pepper spray right in the dude's eyes, and it like hit him multiple times.
Got him good too. Dude. It was all over his face.
Oh, I posted a video of like the aftermath on my TikTok, and it actually blew up because his eyes were like bloodshot red. Looked like he just smoked a doobie or something.
Yeah.
And then and then we had to go to the shower and like pour milk in his eyes.
That's right.
So bad.
I had to dump a whole gallon of milk in his eyes.
Wasted all our milk on that dude. For that.
Yeah, that was
shout out to Galen though for that, dude. Galen was a real one for
tough.
That. Yeah, that's crazy.
That dude was also you'd never expected dude that wanted to get pepper spray, but he was a world-class runner in high school. Dude could have gone anywhere in the should make you feel good, Harding, because he'd go anywhere in the country to run and academics. Dude had over a 4.0 in high school, but he chose to go to Harding. So
yeah, he's a beast.
props to
dude.
Harding. Reeled him in.
Shout out to
5-star recruit.
Yeah. Dude, you also, besides our fines, I'm trying to think of some other stories of our fines. I know there was one thing, which I'll say it now because like I'm out of that dorm anyway. Like I'm not in the dorms. This was the best prank we've ever done because we didn't get caught. And I think that's the purpose of a prank. We went up to the 3rd floor and just doused Dawn dish soap all over the floor. I mean, it was like gallons of Dawn dish soap. And we made it the best slip and slide floor of all time. And they woke up the next morning and they were like, what in the, like, what? Yeah. They were slipping and sliding on that thing.
Well, that was epic because it was planned out almost like you would a military operation because we had it perfect. We had 3 guys coming because the hallways were an L shape, like a perfect L. So we had 3 guys at the other end of the L, and we started at the opposite end. You had 1 guy in the middle with the full Dawn soap bottle, and the 2 guys on the either side had the 5-gallon buckets. So the whole time you walked straight, dude in the middle was dumping the soap out, and then the dudes on the sides were dumping water on top of that. So we got it. We eventually crossed paths and made it all the way to the other end. So we got the whole hallway pretty much twice. You could hear them in the morning. By the time they started coming out, like you hear bam, bam, they're all slamming against the floors and coming out onto the hallways. But the more they walked on it, the worse it got because it was just mixing it together and it was a tile floor. So
dude, it was so bad that like everybody was talking about it. They said somebody pranked 3rd floor and Harbin and the floor is just soaking wet. It's like a slip and slide. I mean, it took them forever to clean that up. Kind of feel bad, but then again, it was fun. Funny prank. Another prank we did was this was a dumb prank, but we like put tape on this one dude's door that we didn't like, and we just Galen actually did it. Chunked sardines. I have a video. I put that up too. Sardines on the dude's door, which that stank so bad, dude.
Sardines, flour, and eggs.
Oh.
But the good thing about that one was he used double-sided masking tape. It was clear, so the dude didn't really notice it when he walked out in the morning. So we just walked right into the face full of all that crap. It stuck to his face.
The tuna.
He walked right into the tape. He had no idea.
That was funny. I want to say this story too, because this was an instance where I've never been more pissed, honestly, because I'm all for pranks and stuff, but when you get this wasn't even a prank on me. This was just somebody being stupid. But we had something happened with flour in our room. Well, I was trying to clean up some flour that was poured in our room, and I'm scooping it up. I finally, flour is the hardest thing to get out of like small carpets like that. So I'm getting the flour out and I'm scooping it with my hands. And as I'm picking it up, some dude, his name is Josh. Okay. He used to go to Harding. You remember him?
Yeah.
Okay. That dude
from the Marines.
Dude's a Marine now. I mean, I know he ain't pulling that crap with the Marines. They'd beat him up for that. But I was picking the powder up and this dude decides to pick a handful of it up. And I'm thinking he's helping, I help him pick it up. He chunks it in my face. I literally chased after this dude so fast. This dude is like running all over the dorm. I'm having to chase this guy down because I'm trying to like pour a whole bag of flour on him. All I remember is the dorm dad and the dorm mom coming up there like, stop it. They were going crazy, dude. And so then somebody, one of the guys off the football team, he don't even go here anymore either. Our boy Harris. Do you remember Harris?
Yeah. Dude, I remember Harris.
He got in trouble for this. But dude, him and like Josh had that fire extinguisher.
They started going at it with the fire extinguishers.
Well, I don't know who sprayed it. Somebody sprayed in the bathroom, but then Josh, like we went outside to the hallway and Josh was pissed at all of us. He started spraying us. He started spraying us with the fire extinguisher, and we're like, "Whoa, dude!"
Somebody had pairs of ski goggles. I know you had one. Somebody else had one. So you and Josh both had ski goggles on, going at it, covered in flour with the fire extinguisher.
Dude, nobody could breathe.
Out and like clotheslined him when he tried to run by. He stuck his arm out and said, "Stop!" Josh,
nobody could breathe when he sprayed that, dude.
Oh no, everybody was coughing and everything. That whole bathroom was like a hot box.
Dude, it was so bad, and we had to clean all that crap up, which was the worst. And it was a fun time. So we did a lot of crazy stuff in the dorms, for sure. A lot of crazy things. You were also on. We were both did the news station at Harding, which was an experience in its own. Were you there? The episode I walked off the set, or?
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That was got to be my most legendary thing ever. So
hilarious.
I figured out quick the broadcast career was not for me. And I like the idea of it, but I just knew like I couldn't deal with some of the people in there. Especially when it's just like somebody attacking somebody. I messed up on a name is what happened. Here's a story real fast. I'm gonna just to tell the listeners. So I messed up on a person's name. I forgot the name, and the chick I was anchoring with in the middle of a commercial break just starts going off on me. She's like, how do you mess up the name? How do you mess up the name? Did you not prepare? Did you not prepare? And I'm like, whoa, calm down. It's just a show for, 5 viewers. And this chick would
max. Yeah.
I was like, so this chick kept going off on me. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to like mess around. I'm just going to get up and walk out. I'm just going to walk out right now. She's like, I was like, I guess I'll just leave then. And she goes, all right, leave. So I was like, okay. And I got up and walked out and went into the break room. I mean, granted, it's still commercial break. I can come back. Like, we'll be fine. So I got up so I didn't like go off on this chick. And all I know is I got in there. They're like, where are you going? Where are you going? You got to get back in there. So then I had to go back in and finish the show, which is the most awkward thing ever because the chick was pissed and everybody was just, it was just an awkward thing. I wasn't feeling awkward. I was just thinking it was hilarious. Granted, that was the last time I did a show for HU 16 Harding News. That was the last show I did.
I appreciate that because you almost had me cracking up on air, and I was trying so hard.
I remember they were ending the show and they were tossing at you, and you were just like laughing, so you had to like recover, but it was hard.
Yeah, they tossed it right to me. Like immediately, Dylan walks out, and then immediately 10 seconds in, after he's not over there, they freaking throw it to me over there. Like, thanks, appreciate that. And I'm over there, trying to cover up my face, not to laugh. We'll have the weather when you come back.
Dude, it was crazy. I remember one time you were doing the weather, and weathermen use a green screen. Well, Trey wore like a green collared shirt one time, so his head was cut. His head was floating on the
I had a sweater on with the green collar sticking out, and it made me look like a floating head because you could see the black sweater, but my neck was cut off. Like it was floating on the thing.
Dude, that was so funny, dude. We had a good experience with that little news station thing.
Yeah.
Glad to see you're still going after it with the meteorology. Yep. It's a good plan. We always need those. I want to talk about your job. So you're working right now. You're a college student, but you're also doing like a little part-time job, and you work it's called. You gave me one of the beanies. It's called like a supersonic. Dude, that's pretty dope. Supersonic car wash. Mm-hmm. But recently you told me the funniest story I've probably heard in a while about how you accidentally sprayed a customer in the face.
Oh,
tell me how that went down, because that sounded hilarious.
So. At the wash, you got your track you got to bring them into. So you got to wave them in. So I usually, wave them in, bring them in, keep coming, and push move left, right, left. And you tell them to stop, point at the sign. They'll keep their hands off the brake. And they don't always look at that anyway. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But some of them, they'll keep their foot on the brake or won't have it in neutral, and the roller will come and they'll bounce up and they'll like make their look at me.
Start freaking
what was
out.
that on my car? Like I point the sign, I'm like, dude, you're supposed to have it in neutral, and they'll bounce again, bounce. But finally, this dude was one of those. He was a bouncer. That's what we call him.
He was a bouncer.
He was in a truck, kind of like mid 2000s, white Chevy truck. It rolls in with his wife, and his wife's in the passenger seat, and the truck is dirty. It's almost like it sat under a tree.
Really?
It was bright. It was supposed to be like a white truck, but so you could see all the stuff, the moss and sap and everything had fallen in there. So after we get him from bouncing, he gets confused and looking at me, what? So I sent him through the wash, and he's going through there and comes back around and stand over there with Jaden, and this dude, he says, why did you get my truck clean? Why not clean? My truck's still green. Look at the front bumper. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about, man? Like, come on, bro. And so we go over there, and he gets out and starts pointing. He said, right here, truck's not clean. So I start looking and rubbing it with the finger, and so we're looking behind the truck and talking.
So y'all are outside with the hoses, like spraying off before they go in, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this guy had already come through, and he comes around like hollering about his truck's not.
He had already been through the wash once, and it wasn't even our fault. His truck looked like it had sat under a tree for 2 years at least and not been washed. So he comes around hollering, and then we're standing there behind talking. And at first I was fine, like, because people do this sometimes. I was already getting kind of frustrated though. And then he calls us up to the windows. If you want me to hear you, you gotta stand where I can see you. And I said, all right, this is how it's gonna be. So finally I said, all right, we're gonna give you a rewash. And he said, oh, how do we do that? I'm like, well, hell, man, you just come back around and get in the track like you did before. It's something slightly different. So he comes back around, gets up to the track, and I point him, do the same thing, bring him in, tell him to stop, point the sign. He comes and he stops, and he bounced again. So he's getting more pissed. Yeah. So I start to spray his truck, and then the dude, his window was open. He rolls down his window, and it was too late. I didn't realize I sprayed the thing, and boom, beamed him right in the face. He goes, oh! He went out and and he like pressed his mouth together. Starts mumbling her breath.
You sprayed the guy in the face.
Yeah, beamed him right in the face. And,
dude, those things have some pressure on them too, dude.
Yeah, it's a pressure washer.
It's a pressure washer to the face.
That sound is something I'll never forget. It sounded like Homer Simpson. Oh! Like the face was dripping. It was probably like 2 feet away, dude. And so
why the hell would he roll his windows down when you're?
I don't know, dude. I was beaming his hood. Like I was so close to his truck, beaming his hood. Dude decides to roll his window down and starts mumbling.
That dude's crazy.
Right in the grill, bro. Right in the face. I guess water's ice cold too.
It's like the thing is with that whole situation is the guy was already being kind of obnoxious, like wanting to rewash.
Yeah.
All this. And so, like, you kind of already wish you could have sprayed him in the face, but he literally gave you the opportunity because he rolls down his window while you're spraying his truck.
Yeah, I mean, that was an accident, man.
Yeah, you're like, whoa.
Never do that on purpose,
it was an accident,
man.
But you kind of deserved it.
I mean, he rolled it down. It's not like I could just take my finger off the trigger, man.
Did he, what did he do after that? Just roll the window back up? Or?
Well, he started pointing at me through the window and, like, waving his finger, shaking his head with an angry face. And then he went through again and rolled back through. And like, truck mold's all on you, bro. My truck's gonna get molded on that water right here. I was like, I kind of just gave him the what for. I'm like, kind of like, sorry, I can't do anything about it. So he squeals his tires and like peels out of there and goes back to the street, man. But I'm telling you, bro,
crazy, dude. You must have some
people
at the car wash, man. It's no joke.
Yeah. You wouldn't expect it, but there's these people that come through like 3 or 4 times in a day because they have these unlimited plans. These people are paying
to get a car
$30 a month.
Okay. So it's a subscription.
Yeah. They pay $30 a month for that crap.
$30.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. That's insane.
I get my car washed maybe once a month.
Yeah.
So that's still cheaper than $30.
And I mean, we did the math, and to send a car through on a $20 wash, it costs 64 cents.
Well, that's
so
cheap.
Do the math on that.
They're making some profit.
Yeah, you got 200 cars come through getting a $20 wash. They're
rolling in the dough.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Sounds like we need to open up a car wash.
Oh yeah, we need to.
The
company that we just got bought out, and this company that bought us owns over 900 car washes in the United States, and
Jeez.
Yeah, they're making bank. They're the top car wash company in Europe. So we're thinking like, we're fixing to move up, and then we're fixing to redo it and everything. Larry's Lube coming up.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Dude, that's freaking awesome. I know a lot about working with you, man. It's a fun time. I remember I'm going to tell this story because, if you're working with Trey, you never know what you're going to get, whether he's working or just jacking around. But there was one time I had a little lawn care business. That was a plug for that. But I had a lawn care business, and as one does, small business, you just hire your friends, work, and we just go out there and weed eat and stuff. So we got to this one property. Trey was working with me one day, and I was like, hey, Trey, I'm going to go ahead and mow this. If you can just run to the backyard and weed eat it. Well, it's a task Trey's done before, but this time I go to the backyard to find Trey weed eating, like literally not even weed eating. You like dug the weed eater into the grass and skinned the ground and drew a huge dick and balls right in the backyard, man.
Yep.
I mean, this was the biggest, like, I don't know.
It was huge.
It was it was a work of art.
You know how the weed eater is, like when you have it spin in a certain spot, if you just put it in the grass, it'll do like a circle. And I mean, it's pretty big, like at least a couple feet wide. So I took it and slammed it in there on one side and slammed it in the other. There were the two balls, and I just went straight up the middle. This is just perfect. Like, dude, I don't think I've ever made one as good as that one.
I mean,
into the grass. It did it so low, the grass was like dead, man.
Like initially, here's my thing. Initially, my obvious response is pissed. I come in the backyard. I'm trying to fix this thing. I'm like going over it with a mower, so trying to get it to work. But you did it so low that I couldn't fix it, and I couldn't really taper it off as much. So then I take a look at it. I take a second look at this big old dick in the backyard, and I'm like, damn, dude, this dude actually did a pretty good job on this. I'm
telling you, man, it was a work of art.
I mean, it was. I was like, everybody can draw one, but with a weed eater, I mean, it wasn't too it looked like it did some. So that's what you were doing in the backyard the whole
creative
time.
Mind, man.
Yeah. So I was just I was able to laugh it off, but of course we lost the customer. I don't think she didn't really like that in her backyard, but
yeah, her fire pit wasn't covering that one up.
Yeah, her fire pit wasn't big enough to cover that thing. Geez, that thing was crazy, but that was super funny.
That was that Dust Bowl yard. The whole front yard there was no grass, straight dust. Still wanted it mowed though.
Dude, it was crazy. Well, man, I'm gonna try to end this thing off with some questions. I didn't really get a ton of. I didn't have time to post on Instagram, but I have some questions that were from another podcast too, and that I think are pretty good. Can you think of one of your most embarrassing moments you've had? Whether it be with a girl or just anything.
Oh, yeah. There's been some. Let's see here. So I went on a date pretty recently that was kind of weird. I feel like I've been in, even though I've only been in Starkville for a semester, a little over a semester now. I mean, I'm starting to get to know some people around here, building some connections. There's a couple restaurants I like to go eat at.
Yeah.
So I met this girl. Matched on Tinder, it's typical
Tinder.
Matching, yeah.
Dude, we've been talking about Tinder in my recent podcast, man. It's Tinder.
That's all. Yeah, Tinder is root evil there. But I matched with this girl. I thought, she's a pretty nice looking girl. Seems to be a good-hearted, kind of fun person through chat. So we go out to eat to this Mexican restaurant, and I don't know what changed in this girl, but the moment we got out of the car and stepped in the door to that place. This chick was nuts. She was crazy.
As soon as you walked into the restaurant.
Oh, yeah. She was nuts. I'm like, so we sit down. Yeah. Well, so we sit down at the booth. And, I mean, you think simple question that the dude comes up and can I get you something to drink? And this chick, I mean, most people normally, it's a simple, I have water with lemon when I sit down first.
Yeah.
And she was she's sitting there, oh, this is so hard. I've never seen so many options before. And she just starts getting loud. It sounded almost sexual. And it was so weird. I'm thinking what the hell? It's being so weird. Oh my God, I don't know if I can get Coke or Sprite or water. What the? Just somebody give me some help. And finally, all right, give her a Sprite. She'll take a Sprite. Give her a Sprite. Because I thought at least Sprite is not caffeine there. She don't need a Coke. So he takes it away, brings it back. And somehow when she's trying to tell this guy thank you, she goes and, of course, whacks her hand and knocks the Sprite off the table all over the floor. Knocks the Sprite all over the floor. The
Sprite went everywhere?
Yes, all over the place. It starts leaking all over this floor. And of course, hardwood floor. You can see it's dark hardwood. Everybody's looking and they're laughing. Everybody's putting their hands up to their mouths, trying not to laugh. And I thought to myself, okay, this can't get
you're like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
How'd you get out of this situation?
It took me a while, but so we're sitting there and of course it gets even worse. She starts talking super loud and it's almost embarrassing because I'm like, I don't even when if I eventually get a job as a meteorologist on TV, so I'm hoping to do, I still don't want everybody in the restaurant. I want to sit there and eat in peace. I don't want people looking at me. There he is, Trey Tonnessen, broadcast meteorologist. Okay, TV. Blah, blah. So we're sitting there and she starts talking super loud. I don't know if she was doing it on purpose. Part of me thinks she was. So she was like, oh yeah, I'm so glad eating with Trey Tonnessen.
Oh
On
my
TV,
gosh.
he does the weather on the green screen. Everybody's it's in the presence of a legend, a celebrity. And
She's just like shouting this out loud.
And everybody's looking and pointing. And shut up. And so I try to get her like to stop, and like just the same time she's like shoving in chips, like chomping them, making these like real loud, and crumbs are going everywhere. And she takes the salt, and salt's goes all over the table. Oh my God, like all over my phone, knocks the salsa over. But she kept talking louder and louder. And finally, I just went along with her whole thing, and I acted like I answered a phone call. This is how it got out. Most bizarre way I've ever escaped.
Wait, hold up. So you actually like made up something to get out of this?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, I gotta hear this. I gotta hear it.
Enough.
Dude, I gotta hear it.
Finally, I said that, and I said it under my breath. Like, enough. That's it. So I said, I answered a phone call. She actually believed this is exactly how it went. And she did not take into account I haven't graduated college yet. I don't have my degree. I don't actually work at a real TV station. I answered the phone and said, yeah, what? Oh, yeah, this is him. This is Trey. Oh, yeah, all right. I looked at her and I said, all right, gotta go. There's a tornado in a couple counties over. I gotta go broadcast it live. Gotta save some people. She's like, oh my God, here he goes. He's going to save everybody. They start talking. Oh, I'm so proud of you. All right, that's it.
Oh my God, this dude.
All right, I'll drop you off by the campus. Blah blah. And yeah. Oh my dude, this chick was nuts.
Dude, that's how Tinder be, bro. You gotta watch out, man.
Yeah.
Tinder, you never know what you're gonna get. You know, that's crazy, dude. You answered the phone and you said you had a tornado to go cover.
Well, that's the only way I could think of to get out of this crap, man. Like,
it worked. So
yeah, she believed that crap. Well, and that's another thing. Like Tinder, I don't know what it is about that app. Like, I'm gonna have to switch to Hinge.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that. I was gonna say something real fast. The girl you were describing with her like obnoxious loudness. She reminds me. I'm getting a picture of the girl that played in that movie, The Wrong Missy. It had David Spade in it. It's off of Netflix. It's a new one that came out in 2020. But The Wrong Missy, dude. That chick named Missy in that movie was so obnoxious and loud and crazy. But this kind of sounded like a Tinder date. But
well. I don't know what it is with that app, but it just seems like even if somebody shows up, first of all, it's hard enough on Tinder. I don't know why Tinder has such a problem with people showing up being the real person they say they are.
You get catfish.
She showed up to the date on Tinder. She had blonde hair, but she showed up to when I picked her up to go with Mexican. Her hair was not even close to blonde. It was brown, closer to black.
Dang, so she must have dyed her hair or something.
Yeah, it's either she dyed it, but then I asked her, and she said that her hair was naturally brown. She had never been blonde. It was only for Halloween. Like, so why'd you use your Halloween pictures for your Tinder? What made you think that was a good idea?
You match with a girl in a costume, man.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not even sure she was a female.
Dude, so you just mentioned something. You told me about that. What is Hinge?
All right, so Hinge is a step in the right direction. I think that's the way that a better version of what if online dating is going to be successful, that's what it should be. Because Hinge, in order to complete your profile and get on like the actual thing where people see you, you have to put 6 pictures, kind of like I don't know how many Tinder has, 6, 9, whatever.
Yeah.
But for all your 6 pictures for Hinge, it's all based on these prompts. Like you can choose these prompts they have, and there's a bunch of them. Like for example, like my secret talent, and you could choose one of your pictures you're going to put anyways, but it fits. Choose 2 truths and a lie. You don't have to put a picture with them, but then that's one of them, or something like imagine us here and show a picture.
So
of
it's
like
more detailed.
Exactly, and it makes it so much easier to communicate with people. I can talk to people anyways. I love having a conversation, but even on Tinder, it's hard for me to say something like if you match with somebody and she barely has a bio, like if it says Mississippi State, 22 years old, like what am I supposed to say? Like you could be the prettiest female in the world, but if I don't know anything about you, like
I feel like people on Tinder just like try to see who can send the best pickup line to get the snap or something.
Exactly, and they're all stupid. They're ridiculous.
I don't know. Tinder. I've been seeing what you just mentioned. Hinge. I saw a few videos on TikTok about it, like people meeting up on Hinge. I mean, it looks like there's possibilities there. I don't know.
Yeah, because like on Hinge, and another thing. Like this would be Harding girls, listen up. If you're listening, you want to get into online dating, delete the Tinder, a bunch of weirdos on there. Go for Hinge, because on Hinge, this will make everybody excited. You can sort by height,
Oh, dude. I'm gonna be screwed then, dude.
religious affiliation. You can only see Christians on the app. So I was like, well, yeah, that's
I'm gonna have to
sick,
say I'm gonna have to say I'm like 6'2" then, because if they're sorting by the height, I feel like all the I'm like 5'7" on a good. I'm like 5'8" on a good day. Actually, I'm more like 5'7", dude.
Yeah.
If I put 5'7" in there, ain't no way a chick's gonna be like, my ideal height of a man I want is 5'7". Dude, I'm gonna have to lie just to get
outside of the range.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like a lot of girls are always like, oh, I want this super tall guy. But, like, you don't get to pick and choose, because guys be saying the same thing and they don't get what they want all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. What if they were short? Yeah. Way short. Yeah. Man.
I mean, it's crazy, bro. Well, dude, you got anything else going on, man?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of some things that people have asked me that maybe they wanted answered on here. But do you have anything that they've asked, like you could think of that people have asked?
There was one that people were asking. This is like just a general question. It's just like, would you rather be rich and sad or poor and happy?
Oh, definitely poor and happy. Yeah. If I'm happy, like poor and happy, but I'm living in, like, what do they call those things? Great Depression, shanty towns, the Hoovervilles, whatever.
Something like that.
If I'm living in a box out there, but we're all in a community, man, I'd rather do that and live in a big, jazzed up mansion by myself. I'm not trying to go Great Gatsby mode. That's one of my favorite movies, because it teaches you a lot, because you look at him, the whole movie, he's out there he's chasing the green light, which is the daisy, but he's trying to fill something. He had his whole house filled up with all these people and was like seen as this great individual, all these parties and everything. But when he died, I was only like 3 people there out of the thousands. So I'm telling you, I'd rather be the poor guy. You see the poor people in like a lot of stories compared to the rich people. The poor people are normally the guys that end up the happiest at the end. So money goes away that quick, disappears, man.
Facts, for sure. That's crazy stuff, man. People get attached to that money, and then they realize it's not going to help them in the end. It doesn't like make everything go away. So that's a good one. That's just a general question. A lot of people wonder with different people.
Yeah.
But I agree. Man, it's crazy. I guess school's about to start next week. Mississippi State, are y'all like online, or what is that like?
Well, starting right now, every class has unless you're doing distance education, every class has an in-person option. So we're starting the semester that way, but I don't know how long we'll get. I have a feeling it'll probably end up all back online. It sucks, but I mean, the classes are easier online, but I think it's boring because you don't get to meet people, talk to people and stuff. But as of now, we're in person, which I really like, because eventually I'm going to get to a point in my major, broadcast meteorology, where you can't teach a lot of that stuff straight out of a book. Like, you got to have experience. Like, it's going to be hard for me to learn out of a book how to stand in front of the green screen. You point this hand here, saying, and of course, I did some of it at Harding, like learning the basics of the green screen weather and stuff. But a lot of the stuff, even for regular broadcast majors, you can't go do a stand-up, practice your stand-up out of a book. Like, you can't go practice reporting saying, I'm Trey Tonnessen here at Griffiths Hall doing blah, 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 blah. You can't do that from a book. Like, I think we got to get some stuff back in person for sure.
For sure.
Got to help people out.
I don't touch on the election much, but like, I feel like you're pretty big into politics, and you keep up with it good. What's your thoughts? We got the inauguration coming up on January 20th. That's actually my birthday, but it's just crazy, like, I think we're all prepared because we know what's going to happen. At this point, it looks like Biden's going to be put in there.
He definitely, he won for sure.
What do you think the response is going to be like? Do you think Trump's going to what do you think Trump's going to do after that? Like, do you think he's going to? I don't think he's going to even be there.
I don't either.
I mean, doesn't he?
At this point,
I don't think he.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like with Donald, like I can appreciate where he's coming from a perspective of him never being in a public office or a position of public service and wanting to do what he thought originally was his idea for helping the country. But at this point, I think he's broken a lot of norms that kind of pissed me off from perspective of like, for example, like you see There was a benefit concert a few years ago when there were the earthquakes or tsunamis. I don't remember which exactly it was. Something happened in Haiti. I believe I think it was a tsunami that hit in Haiti, and a bunch of people had died, and a lot of stuff was destroyed. And you saw at that point, the younger Bush, older Bush, Clinton, Obama, and Jimmy Carter were all at this benefit concert, and they were all working together, and they like got up on stage and sung some songs, and at one point you even saw Bill Clinton, who beat older Bush in the election, push Bush like in the wheelchair to the back so that he could get to the back because at that point he couldn't walk. I think that's what we're missing here with Donald, and starting to kind of rub people the wrong way, like regardless of what you think of policies and stuff. Like it upset me as much as the next guy what they say could have happened on election night, but at this point, like I don't think it would have changed much.
Yeah. I think at this point, everybody's just trying to like move on and get, because, somebody's got to be in there, and, we got to go through another 4 years eventually. So,
yeah. And if we're all held up in a power struggle on the 20th of January this month, let's not forget that regardless of what you think of the coronavirus, we still got a pandemic we got to end somehow. And we can't do that if we're still fighting over power, which has never happened with the presidency before. Like at some point, you just got to take your lumps and move on, because Republican or not, you got to think at some point he's going to start losing some of the middle voters for the next Republican election, because those people are going to remember that and they're going to be pissed.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Are you going to get the vaccine? Or I saw the COVID vaccines.
Well, I don't think so.
I don't think I'm going to get either. I see everybody getting it. Good for you if you're going to get it. I'll get it eventually, if everything goes good. But I don't. Right now, I'm not really into the whole vaccine thing unless I have to. They're talking about making people get it if you want to travel. So that's another thing. I guess I'll just be staying where I'm at. But
I mean, my whole question with it is I don't understand. Well, before we even had this pandemic coming out, like I'm not saying obviously with other things like the flu. Measles, smallpox. Of course, I've got the vaccine. I'm not questioning that anyway.
Yeah,
like, we all know that. Like besides a small group, we all know that those vaccines are effective and other reason. But the coronavirus, before this pandemic started, a couple years before, Bill Gates was advocating for a new type of vaccine for the pandemic that was coming. And I don't understand why he was doing that and what his motivation was, because he's already got money.
Yeah.
Like Bezos passed him up for richest man in the world, but he's still second richest guy in the world here. But I don't understand why we need this, why he's pushing it so hard. Why, like he had been an advocate for tracking Americans for years. And I'm just, first of all, like it's been in such a rush because we're in a pandemic to get the vaccine done that I feel like regardless, you're going to have some areas that they cut corners. Yeah, and absolutely. You saw a doctor the other day that was at a press conference. She got the vaccine right in the arm. And then a couple minutes later, she's up there talking, bam, passes out right on stage. She was in her 30s, probably 35, 36.
Yeah.
So that just scares me. It's in the early stages and everything. But
it's new, and I think that's what's going to be a fear for a lot of people. I know healthcare professionals have to get it. Some people that work, depending on where you work, you have to get it. So we'll see what happens. You were talking about some rich people there. Elon Musk is doing a lot of things with the SpaceX stuff, man. I was listening to a podcast with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk the other day, and Elon Musk is planning some freaking robotic stuff, bro. Like I'm talking about he was talking about Neuralink and like getting this like chip put in people's brains to where it can like fix their blindness or their epilepsy, and like it's almost like a battery in your back of your head that's like charging you to where he says eventually we're not going to have to like communicate words as much. Like people will just know like what the vibe is.
Yeah, that dude's mind is so deep in the things he thinks of. I mean, he is. I swear, the dude, technology-wise, he's way over here.
He's got to have a Neuralink already in him or something. Like this dude's going crazy.
Yeah, the stuff he thinks of is stuff you could not spout out without some kind of. Yeah, he's way like to the.
I mean, he even mentioned on the podcast with Joe Rogan. He said something about within the next 5 to 10 years, people will be getting these like Neuralinks, and he's still trying to get us to Mars. And he's still trying to get us to Mars. So it's crazy that Elon Musk, coming from Tesla, is going to get us to Mars. But
Yep.
That's crazy, bro. We got a
That's
lot of big
nuts.
things coming. I'm definitely gonna be interested to see what happens.
And me too. It's wild to think. I thought when they canceled the space shuttle program, I thought, well, what the heck's happening now? Rockets and space shuttles. But then Elon stepped up with SpaceX, and now he's launching people into space.
Crazy.
Which is wild, man. You're thinking about that. Pretty much commercialized space flight. We're sending people out. You pay for it, you can go into space, just like everything else. And it's crazy to think that space in the next few years could become just like everything else. You want to get there, you get there. And then you save up and go there. That's nuts. It's never been like that before. Oh yeah, it's never been like that before. Space has always been a place that's just like it's just you can't get to it. It's governments and stuff, of course, but now it's going to be a place that could be frequently traveled by the rich, and I'm sure that'll be a complaint of people. Like, space should be free for everyone. only the rich get to go. Here we go again. Yeah,
it'll be interesting for sure. I guess one last question for you, because I know you've met a few like famous people. Who's the coolest celebrity you've got to meet and talk to?
Trying to think here who would be super interesting that you would.
Didn't you I saw you went to a Memphis Grizzlies game, but I think you ran Rivers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got before the game. There was this guy out in the lobby, older guy, and I started talking to him. And my dad was out there with me, so my dad and I were talking to him. And I mean, he was just standing there by himself, and we just kind of struck up a conversation just to be nice. Yeah. And it came to pay off just being nice, because this guy, he was the play-by-play announcer for the Grizzlies. He was the stat guy. I mean, he sat at the middle of the table. Yeah. And he took stats for all the Grizzlies games, and he even was a stat guy for Ole Miss basketball, because it's only like 45 minutes an hour away. All the home games for Ole Miss. So he talked to us for a little while, explained who we were and where we're from, all that kind of stuff, just having a conversation. And he ended up handing us these passes to the visitors side after the game, which is where all the family and friends go to meet all the coaches and players after the game, just to talk to them. So we're down there with the families of these players and friends. I even recognized some of the people, like when I was down there, Sam Decker, who played for the Clippers at the time. His girlfriend was there, he's married to her, but she's the daughter of Kevin Harlan, who does all the play-by-play games.
Y'all are just like chilling with like the fan.
Yeah, exactly. And then it gets even better, because out comes Doc Rivers, NBA supermind there.
Yeah.
And start talking to Doc, having a conversation, got to take a picture with him and just chat with him and everything. And it was super cool. The dude is a really friendly guy. Now he coaches, of course, the Sixers. The Clippers fired him after last year, but it was super, super interesting. Like the stuff he knew, his basketball knowledge. You just think about it. These people, you forget, you trash some of the bad teams in the league, but you just forget just how high these guys' basketball IQ is. It's just at such a level. They could go out and smoke anybody on the street, like that. Like any of their bench players could do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I know you have a pretty good Doc Rivers impression. What? Give us that.
Well, yeah. So he on the bench, he's usually like, "All right, everybody, we need to get over here. Shut up and listen. You stop fouling, we're gonna lose this game by 50. You sound like the Cookie Monster, man.
I know, he has that scratchy, deep voice. It's crazy, bro. But that's awesome. You got to like Doc Rivers and stuff, bro.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious the other day. You roasted Tyronn Lue and Paul George.
Oh, yeah.
As Paul George, somebody asked Paul George what they were going to do this year to change and not be choke like they did last year. He said, well, I think we can make more adjustments late game. The coaching staff would suggest things. And, of course, Tyronn Lue was the assistant to Doc, and they promoted him to the head coach this year after they fired Doc. And so Doc hears that, and somebody asked him about it at his press conference. They were going on and on, dragging out, making the question super long, beating around the bush. Blah, blah, blah. Paul George said this and this and blah, blah, blah. And all Doc said was, well, they're going to make adjustments. I don't know why they hired him, because Tyronn Lue was sitting right next to me. Tyronn could have given me his opinion anytime.
Shots fired.
Great hire by them. But, dude was always witty. But
Dude, that's some good stuff, man. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's it for this episode. We're definitely glad you joined. I'm gonna have to get you back on, because I'm sure when school starts up, there'll be some other crap that happens at the car wash, sure. So we'll definitely get you back on the podcast. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a fun time. This is So Much Respect, and if you're joining us today, thanks for watching this episode. We're going to have more episodes, so stay tuned. Give us some comments, likes on the Instagram or on the YouTube. Let us know what you want to hear. Ask us questions for every episode. We'd love to answer those. This is Trey Tonnessen, man. Thanks for joining, bro.
Yeah, no problem, man. Of course, anytime. I know you got plenty of stories. We've done all kinds of crazy, wild stuff.
Oh, yeah. We'll
anytime, hit us up.
We'll think of some more and just have to share them.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe now and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We can't wait to get more episodes out to you. So Much Respect is here, and it's going to keep going. Thank you for tuning in.